What's going on? So this like a take two, you could call it. Uh, Sorry it's been so long. I really do apologize. Um, but what made me come back it was it's almost I just intuitively went on my channel uh, earlier today, and I'm still moved by so many views, so many stories, so many placements that you guys have posted. It's just incredible. So I can't thank you guys enough, man. It's beautiful. Um, Sorry, I called in a moment. But this is Gemini. Gemini moon through the houses. And real quick, I added a couple of like sections to my videos to make them, more like a better quality. Uh, the first one I added was how mind, because the moon is your mind, how mind is molded via motherhood and early childhood. Because that's when our mind is molded. That's when the moon is molded and really um, given a personality, a why, and a what, and everything like that. It has a purpose, just like all the rest of the planets. That's where it forms early childhood. And with the early childhood, they almost always go hand in hand. Or the mother figure, or if your mother wasn't there, like it could be yourself actually. Like you had the mother yourself, you had those examples. Then second, I added, uh, this is not an added one, so I ain't gonna say that one. Houses to house, peace of mind, pros and cons. I want to give at least a couple examples of each. And the last one I added was entitled empowerment. So I wanted to, at the end of the video, share with you guys something where you can, we're almost like, I feel we're superheroes, and our placements in our charts are our powers. Or if you're not aware of them, or if you don't do something with them, they could be what actually destroys you over time. Or it just it could be something that just is untapped, unused, and like how most people are. We all have, including myself, have problems, but we don't know why does this keep happening? Why me? And what's going on and stuff like that. That's the main reason I started this channel, and it's like a driving force with my work. Um, is to answer the whys and whens, and just to shed some light, illuminate awareness on these placements and on life. Really, everything is practical. All these placements are practical things we deal with every day, and so the moon in Gemini in the first house. Uh, how mind is molded via mother and early childhood. See, it's your thinking. The mind, the moon is your mind. It's your thinking, it's your emotions. We all know that. Your emotional instincts, our needs, um, um, uh, really emotional needs. But I until earlier when I was thinking about how I'm gonna do these videos, it came to me to talk about when and how the mind is molded and created, almost like the Big Bang, uh, or some beginning of a planet or something. How was it molded? How was this thing made? How was it created? That's what this section is about. How was the mind molded? How was it created? What circumstances? What things were going on? So, Moon being in the first house and as the Lord, um, as the ruler of the second house with Cancer right there, it had to do with Your mind was molded around your upbringing, your self esteem, how you feel about yourself, self worth, the things you have or don't have, survival instinct. Uh, it was molded around those things from early childhood, and uh, your mother more than likely had was like right there as a driving force, and it could be that maybe you didn't have, maybe you didn't have in life, maybe you didn't have anything, you didn't have much to grow up with. Um, Also, with the Cancer being the sign in the second house, that means it was an emotional upbringing, for better or worse. For better or worse, you'll have to look at deeper things, but in the general, it was an emotional upbringing. It could be a lot of crying, a lot of happiness. Uh, you know, so when you were little, you coming up, this was an upbringing. This is what you were brought up in. The environment, it was an emotional one. Um, and that's what began to mold your mind. And give your thinking a shape, a personality. Um, it could be, like Bruce Wayne, Batman, how he was basically spoiled from when he was born because he had everything. That is an example. That's like one way is what I'm talking about. You look around you, you have, there's nothing you could want for. And, coming up, you became emotionally attached to those things. So everything like you feel and you're thinking now is going to stem from those things. It's going to stem from what you had or didn't have. It's going to stem from how you feel about yourself, self-esteem, self-worth, your survival instinct. All these things is what's molded your mind. And for the first house, that means of course it's in Gemini, and the first house, the house of three main words for the first house: um, perception, attitude, and behavior are the three main. I think like the three most important words in the dictionary. Actually, me, and that's where the moon is. So when you were coming up, it could be you could go either way. It could be like someone who lives on the street. I gave you the Bruce Wayne example, the Batman example. It could be someone who lived on the street. They never had anything, so they look at that. They start getting molded now. Okay, and this is what drives the thinking here. This is what drives the emotions. So they could be brought up like, okay, well, I never had much, so that's what I'm used to. That's what I know. That's all I know, and that forms the personality. That informs the perception. That informs your behavior and your attitude. So no, that's one example, and this play. It could go so many ways, so many personalities, and it can come from this because first of all, Moon is in Gemini. It could go. It could be so many different colors and flavors to how this could turn out. You could look at your upbringing and be like, "Man, I'll never want to be like that." The things you had, you just don't want to live like that. This molded your mind. These are the things that molded the thinking and how you express your emotions. the mind as one, right? You could be like you. I never want to be like that. So I want better for myself. But it's all gonna be based off second house things, and it'll be expressed in the first house. Um, with the mother, it could be like someone who, like maybe, like the emotions I was talking about. Maybe your father or whoever was emotionally abusive. This is the upbringing. Maybe that was the brain. I have to go deeper into the chart to see, but I'm just saying, this is how it was molded. Maybe you saw or heard, experienced something. You experienced in some way. Um, the father being abusive to the mother. She's trying to. She's emotional. She has to express her emotions, and what you're witnessing as a child when you being brought up is him being abusive to her because for whatever reason. He don't want to deal with the emotions, and he don't want to hear it all and stuff like that. That molds you. From that, you either decide I'm going to be that way or I'm going to be the opposite. But it stems, the mind, the emotion stems for those kind of experiences as a child. So that's just an example. Um, the thought process and expression. It's like for example, this placement, someone could see, maybe it's something they don't have, and the first house is where you know, where the moon expresses itself at, and the second house is telling you what the moon is doing there. It's telling you what the moon is doing there, or the why. I'm sorry. It's telling you why it's doing what it's doing. For example, um, like your thought process could be, you know, you see somebody with some shoes that you don't have. That's boom. Now the process starts. It starts kicks on now. Man, I want those. And you need an outlet. I'm gonna say this. I know at least one more time. These people need an outlet to express themselves emotionally. Otherwise, not only will they suffer peace, they won't have peace of mind. It'll just suffer, but they feel like they don't know who the hell they are because this moon is in the first house of personality. The moon molds the personality, informs the personality. It informs the behavior, the perception, and the what's the other one I said? Attitude. So you might be like, okay, I want those, and you're gonna get emotionally involved with those things. Like you really want those shoes. You really want those shoes, and you need to be able to express that communicatively. You need to be able to communicatively express, whether it's to someone else or write it down or out loud or something. It needs to communicatively be expressed that those are okay. I need those. I want those. Blah blah blah, and blah, 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 and things like that. So that's the thought process, and these people either they could go and again, so many placements, so many people, so many personalities could come out of this. This could make somebody for who like a thief. They want those shoes. They don't have them. Oh shit, something's wrong with me because I don't have what I need to have to be, you know, uh, uh, sane in a way, like level-headed. So they'll see those things, and either they do what they have to do in order to get the shoes, or they will at least they need to express it. At least they need to express it. They need to get that out. If they don't get it out, you can have people that actually do that. They express it by going to steal. Or people Depending on other things like how Mercury's doing, you have people that go and take the right path and go and do those things. Like, oh, I got the shoes. Look, everybody, look, I got my shoes. First house is the projection. What you want people to see you as. So you want to project yourself like somebody who has in life. Somebody who has, and like they feel good about themselves and they are worth something and this and that. It's going to stem from the what the the self esteem and the things you have, the possessions you have. Again, your upbringing, things like that. Um, so that's the engine that drives. That's how you express yourself. I really need an outlet. Really need an outlet. Um, you can have people that feel like they don't have an outlet, and therefore they don't know who the hell they are because they can't. They feel like they can't express themselves emotionally. So they're not at peace emotionally if they can't do that. And then it's in the first house of your identity. That's what I mean. They don't know who they are. They don't even know how to behave. You have people that do dumb shit for no reason. Not for no reason. I'm sorry. Who do dangerous things or incoherent things because they don't know what else to do. They don't know. They don't feel like they can express themselves. So you need to have an outlet. If you don't have anybody write, I help you all the time. Writing is so powerful. And with this placement, you experience your writing as you're writing. Like you're recalling, man, my mom got this was going on, and my mother got, it was emotionally abused when I was 6, and this and that happened, and this is why today I'm this way, and I do these things and stuff like that. Example, that's a perfect example right there. Somebody who had this placement that don't feel like they have someone they can talk to, but you can definitely always write. You got bloggers. Like I kind of like I'm talking to you guys, but talking to there's nobody else around, and to get that stuff out, gotta get it out. Even if it's good things, like man, see people can come off as braggarts here. I got this, and that, and blah blah blah, and they project themselves as somebody who has, like I said before, and some people can take that like they're too materialistic. They're being you know they're bragging or something like that. They're not. They have to do that. Excuse me. They have to do that in order to be able to sleep at night. And then house to house. Okay. Second house is coming to the first house. In order to do this, again, you definitely need to have an outlet. This is a very strong placement. First of all, very very strong placement. Through your thinking, through your emotions, your emotional needs, through peace of mind, through your early everything the moon is affects your behavior. This is emotion based behavior placement. Emotion based on how they feel, this is how they act. And it's going to have to do with how you feel inside about yourself. So you have, again, you so many placements, so many ways this can go. You can have somebody who feels, you know, great about themselves inside, and they projected themselves as that person, and then just as quickly, the moon is, and it's in, these are both two fickle energies got dealing on that change like, and if if Mercury is not stable, if there's not some kind of stabilizing effect here, these people like it keeps changing, or it changes a lot, or how they come off, how they behave. That's where the Gemini energy really comes in. It's the moon right here. You don't feel the same way all day. And this being in the first house is a very important placement. I swear it is so important. Because the whole chart is funneled. It's expressed, it goes through the first house, the ascendant. And the closer the moon is to the ascendant, the stronger all of this stuff I'm saying is going to be. It's going to be like right in your face. Like you ain't going to be able to ignore that it's there. So, uh, really, really a versatile placement. You know, you take your how you feel, how you act is based off what you have or don't have. How you feel about yourself, self-esteem, right? Self-worth will directly affect how you behave, how you want other people to see you. So it could go to many ways. You can have people that BS you right here, like they don't feel up to, they don't feel good about themselves. They don't have high self-esteem or decent self-esteem, yet they're projecting themselves. They behave as if someone who does. You got people who are honest with their thing. That's probably if Mercury is good, or there's some good aspect on the moon. But you have people who, like, what you see is what you get. How they feel inside, they're gonna tell you. They're gonna communicate. However, what they are feeling. Yeah, those people. And there's the other example I gave. You got people who, you know, uh, don't, have low self-esteem, and then so they behave. You, you know, they that's how they see the world. That's how they project themselves out in the world. That's how they look at things. They have a real like kind of pessimistic viewpoint on life. Um, they might behave negatively because of how they feel inside. They feel about themselves negatively. I'm just saying. How many times we go through this? How many people we know people like this? It's big. It's big stuff. Bigger than I was thinking. People who don't feel they have self-esteem inside. Second house, self-esteem, self-worth. If they don't feel like, if they don't have some good, decent self-esteem, if it's low, that is going to translate into their behavior. Emotion-based behavior. Through the moon, emotions. Moon's coming from the second house into the first. Of behavior, perception, attitude. They're going to have the attitude that, uh, the world ain't shit. I ain't shit. I don't feel like, I got low self-esteem. So that's how the world is. They ain't got nothing to offer. Ain't nobody talking about nothing. There's no opportunities. People are just mostly shitty, and they that affects everything else. The attitude affects everything else. That's my favorite word, I think, attitude. They have a bad attitude. They have a low self-esteem. You can feel it. Emotions, the moon. You can feel it with this placement. If you know somebody who has it, you can feel like, and you can sense that something inside, like they are not. They don't feel. They don't have that self-esteem. That something happened when they were little, upbringing, second house, or something happened to this person as to why they like just like, man, there ain't no good out there in the world. That's how they perceive it. First house perception. So that's house to house. It's a little bit on it. Peace of mind. Um, I'm gonna keep this one short because I've been talking 25 minutes. I don't want to make it too long. And it's very simple. If you have go back to the outlet, if you have some way, someone, a friend, I don't care what it is, find something, find an outlet to where you can express your emotions about what's going on with your self-esteem. What's going on with your self-esteem? Uh, um, Maybe something that might be bothering you, or something that's good that you thought about, like when you was little, like something like trigger that. That's the moon. Like you might think about something or see some other family, and that might trigger you. Like, man, I remember when I was little, and blah blah blah. You know that those times right there, you need to have that. You need to express that. You need to be able and do it in a communicative way. Um, yes, a diverse way, but really communicative. And that when you do that constructively, you build a constructive, positive attitude, perception, and behavior. And that goes through all the other avenues of your life, relationships, career, all these things like that. You know, all the other houses. So yeah, you really want to do that. Just start somewhere. If you don't have anybody and you see this video, write it down and leave a comment. I want to hear what happened. What was your experience? Get it out. You need to be able to get it out. Get your emotions out, and you know, communicate. If not to anybody, at least to yourself, why you are the way you are. Why you do what you do. All right, pros and cons. I think I went over some of those, so I ain't gonna go too crazy on that. You know, I touched on that through the other sections. Um, and empowerment, how to make a plan, how to make the plan, this placement work for you. You know, turn it into a superpower. You know, this again, this is it's a prominent placement. So even if you don't have like moon time periods come, the dashas or a transit, some powerful transit come, this is a prominent placement. It's in the first house, and let it be. If it's close to that ascendant, like within 10 degrees, and it's boom, boom. You don't necessarily um, necessarily need a damn time period to even come. If it's that close, that's like right in your face through your whole life. It'll play out. But if you can have like a vlog, create a vlog, and you could talk about the things I was just saying about, man, I remember when I was little, uh, you know, my grandmother used to, uh, you know, tell me I was great and I was good and told me all these positive things. And man, that's got so much to do with who I am today. Things like that. Build this blog, build this like your if you're doing a paper, build your videos, music, um, you know, the spoken word talking to people, build it around things like that. And if you can do that effectively, this is actually a Don Yoga. I don't know if I said it can make some money, especially when moon comes, some serious money. And this actually is can I put this? It's like a um, yeah, I guess an avenue to earn money. So the moon can do that, even though, like for you, you're just getting it out. That could actually earn you money. Lord, the second and the first, the combination right there, well, first and the second, is wealth yoga, and you can make money from it actually. And the better you get at it, at what I'm saying, the more for you. Especially when the moon time periods come. So, this could be like huge. Like you don't know how this could touch somebody else's life. These placements is like can change the world. Like I said earlier, it goes so many ways. It could change the world because of what somebody heard you say on the radio. It could like spark something in somebody else. Like, oh man, and I never had nobody I could relate to, and that felt that and felt what I felt and stuff like. That's how it happens. That can happen easily with this placement. So, um, or again, it could make for somebody who lives on the street. They feel the same way. I don't feel like nothing inside. I don't feel like I didn't have growing up. So this is how I'm gonna be towards life. They choose to live on the street. Those rags to riches kind of deal like that. So many personalities and in between that could happen. So yeah, I'm done running my mouth. 32 minutes first video, and it's so lengthy because I added some things. I know a couple of you guys were saying, um, basically to be more, get more into it, and it'll be more and more of that. I'll try not to make the videos ridiculously long though, but I hope you enjoyed. Peace.